And I'm Kelsey.
And you're watching
Hydro Hacks!
On this segment of Hydro Hacks, we'll be discussing water pollution. There are two major types of water pollution. These are point source pollution and non-point source pollution.
Point source pollution is when a pollutant is found in a groundwater or surface water in high concentrations. An example of this would be high amounts of nutrients such as phosphorus or nitrogen found in a body of water.
Non-point source pollution is when water moves and picks up pollutants to deposit them in other bodies of water. Examples of this would be a street that has oils and dirts on it, which moves them to sewage treatment plants, which then deposit them into oceans and lakes.
To talk to you more about poor sewage systems, we're going to go out to the field with Professor Kelsey and Allison.
I'm Allison, and I'm here with Professor Worthington, and she's here to talk about poor sewage systems. Kelsey, where does the pollution in sewer systems originate?
Well, it originates in places like your home. And inside the home, it's places like your kitchen and your bathroom that produce all of this pollution.
Okay, so how does it impact the ecosystem?
Very negatively, Allison. Very negatively. You see, all of the waste that you dispose of in the bathroom and kitchen can end up in lakes, rivers, and oceans everywhere through our sewer systems.
So how do scientists like you measure the levels of pollutant in the water?
Well, we do that through things like measuring the total number of solids that are in a body of water. Like, for example, you see if people have washed medicine down the drains, because a lot of people do that even though they're not supposed to. Because what happens is they're not filtered through in sewage systems, so they can end up in people's drinking water and water they cook with, which isn't good.
That's really interesting, Kelsey. So do you know any ways to help reduce the pollutant in the water?
Well, that's going to be hard to do, Allison, but a way that we could do it is to improve our sewage systems. You see, what happens a lot of the time is old pipes are being used, like lead pipes, that also infect our water supplies. And also there's many leaky pipes, because with those leaky pipes, water can be lost that we need to use ourselves. Okay. And these pipes lead to oceans and lakes which infect these bodies of water, and they can make them unusable and uninhabitable for organisms.
Okay, that was really interesting. Thank you, Kelsey.
Back to you in the studio.
Hi, I'm Kelsey, and I'm here with Hannah Looper at a local body of water. And we're going to be discussing what exactly happens to bodies of water when there is a lack of nutrients. Hannah, what happens?
Well, nutrient pollution is a major source of pollution. What happens is wastewater, fertilizer, and sewage end up in our local bodies of water, which throw off the composition and different nutrients within the water sources. Different nutrients encourage algae growth and weed growth, which overall makes the water undrinkable, clogs filters, and uses up all the oxygen in the water. Water organisms can die from oxygen depletion due to these algae and weed growth. Some ways that we can reduce this method is by using non-phosphorus filters and using proper amounts of filters when it comes proper amounts of fertilizers when it comes to different growing techniques. Another way we can track how much nutrients is in the water is by testing nutrient levels.
Oh, how do we do that?
We go like this. I'm not touching this. Splish splash.
You think it's okay to touch?
No, don't touch it. There's fertilizer in it.
Oh.
The nutrients.
Hydro hacks.
Hydro hacks. Quack, quack.
Okay, I'm done.
Here to tell us more about oil spills is Allison. Allison, what causes oil spills?
Good question. Oil spills are caused by accidents involving barges, pipelines, refineries, drilling rigs, and storage facilities. And they come into the ocean through runoff, extraction, and transportation of oil.
So how does this affect the ecosystem?
It affects the ecosystem by harming the organisms because oil is a really poisonous substance to organisms in the ocean. And it can smother small species of fish or invertebrates and coat the feathers of seagulls and other organisms, reducing birds and mammals' abilities to maintain their body heat, which causes hypothermia. It also adversely affects eggs and larvae.
In these animals?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So can you tell us about how this oil is measured?
So this oil spill or oil spills in general are measured typically by using NASA's Airborne Visible Infrared Imaging Spectrometer. The device relies on infrared reflections, and it can scan the surface of water for the reflections of oil to determine the flow rate of the oil, and therefore they know how much oil there is on the ocean surface.
How can this be prevented?
Well, this can be prevented by using less oils in your daily life, like not using as much public transportation, taking bicycles whenever you can, walking, driving fuel-efficient vehicles that don't use as much gas, and energy-efficient lighting.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Pollutants. These pollution techniques are very harmful to the environment. The government has therefore put in place some laws that prevent them. Kelsey, will you tell us about some laws that affect water quality?
I can, Hannah. One of these laws is called the Safe Drinking Water Act, which is basically a standard that drinking water has to meet that makes it able for people to drink. And this is overseen by locals mainly, but the standards are universally set.
Okay, that's nice. What is the other one?
The other one is called the Clean Water Act, which is basically people making sure that water has the right chemical, physical, and biological balances that it needs so people can use it in their everyday lives. And also this prevents point and non-point source pollution, as mentioned earlier, in hydro hacks.
Thank you for joining us today on Hydro Hacks. We hope to see you back